Welcome to another Good e-Reader review video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
And today we're going to check out the Acer Iconia A100. We first saw this at Computex in Taipei last year, and it's finally hit the market. We're going to give you a full hands-on review of the hardware, software, and what you could expect out of the device. I've been using it for about the last week, and actually I'm pretty impressed with it. It packs a pretty big punch considering its price and its size, and I'm going to tell you why as we sort of get into the video. Giving you a little bit of the hardware features. It has a front-facing 2 megapixel camera, and this is mainly used for Skype and everything else, and it does actually have a microphone built onto it as well. It has a rear-facing, and this is what I really like, a 5 megapixel webcam with LED flash. And this is great for taking photos, shooting video, and everything like that. A lot of tablets that we actually see, they don't actually have LED flashes, and a lot of tablets are guilty of this. Looking at the screen, it's actually 7 inches. And the resolution is 1024 by 600. So compared to a lot of higher resolution tablets, it's not that great, but considering its size, we haven't really noticed any pixelation issues or anything like that when we've been using it. As far as CPU processor, it has a 1 gigahertz dual core Nvidia Tegra 2 processor. It only has 512 MB of RAM, but I really haven't noticed things taking a long time to load or programs being able to multitask and stuff like that. Storage, you're relegated to 8 gigs, although you can expand it via the micro SD card. And I'll let Peter here sort of show you the entire 360 of the device.
Alright, as Michael mentioned, front-facing webcam on the front, and not really a hardware button. It looks like one, but it isn't. It's a software-driven home button on the bezel. On the top, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and you have power button and microphone on the top. Looking on the bottom, you have absolutely nothing. And on the right is where most of the party is. You have a reset button, stereo speakers, which are very conveniently placed, micro HDMI, dock for other Acer devices such as keyboards and so forth, micro USB, the second speaker, and the charging port. And on the top, you have micro USB, micro SD card, and a optional SIM card slot depending on the model you've purchased. Volume up and down, and this is actually an orientation lock, so this will lock the rotation. If you notice, it does have a gyroscope and accelerometer, so if we lock that, it will not automatically rotate.
And I like that sort of feature being hardware, because say if you're reading a book or a comic book, and a lot of the times gyroscopes and accelerometers, they're quite finicky, and you may just move it like this. Oh, let me check out something like that, and it may just switch your entire orientation. So I like the fact that it has a lock. Now, before we start to show you the software side of things, Pete touched on this, but I kind of want to point out, this does your home button. A lot of tablets have other buttons on there, especially phones too. You'll have like your back, your settings, and other buttons here. I like the fact that Acer's kept it simple and just has one kind of quick button to bring you back home, and the rest of the options will appear here depending on what programs you're in. So like it'll have like your back, multitask, and things like that. So let's show you some stuff here. First of all, it's this unit here is running Honeycomb, so it's not ice cream sandwich, although Acer said that pretty shortly they're going to be dropping in April an ice cream sandwich update. Scrolling, it's pretty fast. Let's show you how comic books look on it. So this is the Marvel Comics app. You can see things are pretty responsive in terms of like page turn speed. You can pinch and zoom and all that jazz. I kind of like these sort of devices being a comic book reading a lot of people say that you need a 9.7-inch screen like the Apple iPad 3, or larger screen e-ink readers like the JetBook Color, Kindle DX, if you're going e-ink, or tablets if you're getting, say, like the Motorola Zoom, the LG G Slate, things like that. But I prefer devices being able to fit in my pocket as opposed to walking around with like a carrying case. So I think comics don't look that bad. And obviously, there's ways to kind of customize it depending on what view that you're doing it. I never really customized this for the landscape view here. But you can see colors, pretty rich and vibrant. I dig it. One of the big selling points behind this is the fact that it's fully compatible with the Google Market, or now called Google Play. So,
whoa, look what we got there.
yeah, this is the official Good e-Reader app store. So if you do have a tablet that does not have the official Google Android Market, most e-readers that pen digital novels, Velocity Microcruise, even the Kindle Fire, you can install our app either from the Google Android Market or from our own web-based app store. We'll give you sort of more features on that later. So this is Google Play. It's a bit of a redesign. It's mainly the first time that Google's the big redesign since they initially launched the Android market, but 3 years ago now. You could download apps, get ebooks, and get movies. So you can see here is the book section. They have, basically 25-cent books of the day. You can get all sorts of stuff. Basically, their books section is Google Books transported in Android market. So instead of all these independent services like Google Videos, Google Music, Google Books, they just put it all in the Google Play experience. So you could pretty well download and install anything, which I really think for you can usually pick this up for about $250. And I really think that having the Android market is so essential. There's so many tablets out there that just don't have access to it, and they require you to root it or to download and install these alternative markets, and it's jumping through so many hoops that this is the perfect price for like a perfect size tablet in order to really get everything out of it that you possibly can. So you can have all the essential Google services. Let's check out how the e-reading experience is on here. So this is the Kobo app. The reading experience app to app will pretty well remain the same. So you just basically tap it here.
Yeah, there's no funky page animations or anything like that, like no peaks or anything.
Yeah, but I mean, considering this is what you can expect. Now, obviously, I prefer reading books in portrait mode. If you want to turn that accelerator off or accelerometer off or lock. So you can see that you don't really get those page turns, but all the text kind of fits to the page. And you can see that page turn speeds are pretty quick. You're not really having to put up with any type of lags or delay. Even switching from landscape to portrait mode is pretty solid. With all types of e-readers apps, especially for Android, like the Nook, Kobo, Amazon, they all have features and stuff like that, settings to change your fonts and things like that. You can select your text, highlights, all sorts of jazz like that. So if you're looking for an e-reader that is backlit, so you could read it in dark rooms. I do a lot of my reading when I'm going to sleep at night, and so having a backlit screen is better than having an e-ink based e-reader that needs a lot of ambient light. So we showed you pretty well comic books. We showed you the Google Android market. I think the last thing that I want to show you is pretty well, let's check out how video looks. And this is using the Play Store. And it's not available in my country. So we'll check out YouTube, and I'll have Peter here kind of show you something random so you can get a sense. I like sort of YouTube on these screens because it sort of has that kind of cool 3D panoramic view. Here's a little bit of Minecraft, taking the world by storm. Now this is a fan-made video, of course. Check out how the sound is.
Yeah, killing a lot of testificates. That is a balloon. This whole area over here is made by Spectre Cody.
The one thing that I like about this sound, and I'm going to exit this video really quick, just to show you something that is actually lurking in the settings menu. And this was cool. It actually has Dolby Mobile. And this is something that I have not really seen in too many tablets at all. And this really gives you a chance to, check your natural bass, your treble, be able to change it for video and music.
Built-in equalizer.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really cool because this is something that, like a lot of other tablets that are billed as media devices, especially Arcos. They're French company. They're pretty famous for portable music players, and a lot of them don't have actually like Dolby. They don't really have a lot of EQ and customizations and things like that. So this is pretty well your stock kind of honeycomb experience. The one thing I'll say before I kind of wrap it up is that Acer has put together a series of small little portals here. So you have like your e-reading shelf, your game zone, multimedia, social, and if you want to add things to here, things wouldn't automatically appear here, but you could simply just click this and then select. So I'll select Droid Comic Viewer and put that there. So Droid Comic Viewer is one of our favorite apps for side-loaded comic books. And I think this is cool because it's kind of like a unique little menu, and it kind of separates itself just from like the stock experience. Here's just a little bit of a game. So this is the ever popular Fruit Ninja. It's a pretty simple experience, but I mean, Nvidia Tegra 2 is perfect for gaming, and having access to the Android market means that you're gonna have no shortage of games. So overall, Peter, what's your impressions?
I really like it. One of the only complaints I have so far is that the view is it's a pretty narrow screen, so things are naturally wanting to go into or will be formatted to landscape, but most things are widescreen anyways, so it doesn't bother me that much. It's not a make it or break it point. Honestly, it's got everything you really need. It's got micro HDMI, optional 3G. If you get the 3G version, you can put a SIM card in there. It's a affordable price, all in one, and it stands up definitely to the Barnes & Noble Nook tablet, so I'm very happy with it, yes.
So you were saying about it being kind of thin, just kind of do a side by side.
Show this thickness.
Most people will probably see like a Nook tablet at any Barnes & Noble store, or even online at a retail sponsor, shopereaders.com. The way that I see it is this is a pretty sweet tablet for the money. It has a lot of bang for its buck. It's about $50 to $60 more than like the Kindle Fire, more than the Nook tablet. But I think that this has a lot of value, especially with like the dual cameras, the mic, the ability to seamlessly use Skype. I do dig the HDMI. The one drawback, and this is sort of like the drawback in Honeycomb in general, but it's notorious for Acer tablets, that you can't set default memory to be stored to SD cards. And this is something that will irk many users that has, either uses a tool like this for development for Android, or who just has a lot of media on their drive and they want to install apps to it. So, in closing, I like the tablet. I think it's good. And I do think that if you're looking for an all-in-one tablet, take a close look at this. So, for a review of the Acer Iconia A100, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody, take care.